Well, we have active weather through early Sunday. Mother's Day afternoon should start to dry out, but we could see some severe weather in far southern Minnesota Saturday, and then a streak of sunshine next week. Northern Minnesota saw their first 80s for most places yesterday, finally, coming, of course, more than a month after we did in southern Minnesota. 80 even in Duluth. International Falls, not quite, but Hibbing hit 82, Moorhead hit 82, 83 degrees, and Brainerd hit 80 as well. Most of those coming a couple days earlier than the average date, but there's still ice in northern Minnesota. This is Devil Track Lake in Cook County. Thanks to Don Davison for sending that. You can see a lot of ice out there. Now, there are some open areas on some of those northernmost lakes, but they're not officially iced out yet. So this is where we are at so far this season. You can see all the northernmost lakes, Lake of the Woods, Kaptogama, Gunflint, all still not declared ice out, but normally they would by now. So, of course, everything a little behind, especially for northern Minnesota, because they didn't get that heat earlier in the April that we did. A lot of rain over the last 7 days too. This is the 7-day rainfall, of course, a lot to the south, but southern Minnesota too. We had that swath of very heavy rain just a couple days ago, and the potential for even more rain here over the next 48 hours, another 1 to 2 inches on top of some of those areas. So we could be looking at parts of southern Minnesota that pick up 6+ inches of total rainfall here over the course of several days. So an excessive rainfall risk for tomorrow for much of south central Minnesota. Of course, the ground's already saturated because it has been a wet winter and spring. And it does look as though the Twin Cities area is going to be just north and east of most of this persistent and heavier precip as we head into tonight and tomorrow. Vigorous area of low pressure. This is an upper level low that is just really spinning pretty tightly wound in southwest Nebraska. The focus for severe storms, but also the bands of showers occasionally moving around it. So this is looking at the forecast upper level pattern and vorticity, which basically can equate to where there's lift in the atmosphere. This thing gets absorbed into the upper level ridge, reestablishing itself, so it kind of becomes a wave again and moves east. But for the time being, it's slowly moving across Nebraska. Severe weather down there today, and then the potential for severe weather into Iowa and southwestern Minnesota tomorrow afternoon. And some of these storms could produce some tornadoes, even though the best parameters and the best energy are going to stay mostly to the south in Iowa. Slight risk of severe weather kind of meets the Minnesota-Iowa border, but the tornado risk also expanding into far southern Minnesota too. And the reasons, as I mentioned, most of the energy available for storms to create instability, buoyancy, that's all in Iowa, but we have a lot of spin in the atmosphere, helicity throughout much of southern Minnesota. So storms that do get going could keep spinning into southern Minnesota. So that's why there's that possibility Saturday afternoon and evening. Then the upper level ridge reestablishes itself here across the central U.S. So that means stable, warm, sunny weather Sunday afternoon already into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before the next system comes in. Probably Thursday. We got a kind of a clipper system. With a cool front. It's going to bring some showers late in the day, and then that'll drop temperatures probably back into the 60s by next Friday. But until then, a nice streak of warmth here. Rain-cooled temperatures over the course of the weekend, and with the cloud cover, not a bad Mother's Day by the afternoon, I don't think. Might have a few lingering showers in the morning, especially in southeastern Minnesota, where it'll stay kind of dreary. But I think Twin Cities and points north have a decent afternoon, and then really nice stretch of days for you head back to work and school next week. 70s to near 80 degrees.